Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Davey Deathray here with a little bit of a different kind of Chill Sunday hang. Usually it's a Chill Sunday horror hangout. This time we're doing a Chill Sunday X-Men hangout, and we'll get into a little Avengers Doomsday, but admittedly, like I'll just say this, guys. Growing up as a kid, somebody born in the early 80s and coming of age in the, early to mid 90s or whatever, no one cared about the Avengers back then. Maybe individual characters like the Hulk was always cool, but as far as teams go, it was all about the X-Men. The Avengers were the low rent, and then the films turned them into the main show, right? The Marvel Studios turned them into the main show, gosh, almost 20 years ago, but when they put out Iron Man and it turned into a hit. Now they retroactively grabbed some of that other stuff, but just talking about where the Avengers come from, it's essentially 19 years ago that all really kicked off the way that we know it now. And here we are. D23 just happened this last weekend. Shout out to Shannon from Talking Star Wars for dropping the casting news just the other night on the super late No Agenda stream. So it was the perfect time to drop that. I don't pay attention to every little bit of everything that comes out of like the conventions and all that kind of stuff. There was a time in my life where I did, but with so much going on, I just, I kind of check the trades after the fact, or, like in the case of the other night, have somebody like Shannon jump in and break the news essentially. So, hearing the news first blush and everything, like out of nowhere the other night, I was like, oh my gosh, this is kind of jarring, Indy Navarrete as Rogue, we'll talk about that. I feel a little bit, more warmed up to that than I did when I first heard it, just because of, we'll get into it. And then Adam Driver, of course, you guys know I almost had a meltdown over that one because he looks nothing like Mr. Sinister, but we'll get into the whole thing. The idea of, there's a lot of stunt casting going on in these movies, and we'll talk about our feelings on that. I mean, these movies always rely on stars to sort of like carry them, but it seems like the further we dive into Disney, Star Wars, Marvel, whatever, it seems to be a very exclusive, like you gotta be a star to be a part of the project kind of thing. And I think that's a little troublesome for probably the quality of the movies, I would say, and their lasting power, and just the overall vibe of it all. Just sort of, I don't know. We'll talk about it. Anyways, you can let me know how you feel about it by participating in the poll that is in the chat. Just let me know how you feel about the casting so far, and yeah, you could also just let me know by chatting. And I know there are a lot of people, I'm out there on Twitter or whatever in the sphere and watching people react, and a lot of people are reacting pretty positively, at least from what I'm seeing. So, it's good to see the positive reaction for sure. But I do also think that there's a whole section of fans out there that just accept everything and celebrate and praise everything too. And I'm not, there's no one to single out here. It's just, I just randomly see it, right? Where it's like, oh, I've noticed that person or this account that pops up or whatever, they just they eat everything with a big old smile on their face. There's never the criticism, or even just a critical thought, just even like taking a step back and thinking, does that work? They just see a name that they recognize, and they want to praise it. I think sometimes these people want clicks, and maybe, you know, there's the positive engagement clicks and the negative engagement clicks. So we'll talk about everything here today, guys. Again, like I said, I'm a little more chilled out and reserved now that I've, you know, had time to think about it and digest it a little bit. We will take a look at the casting. We're going to take a look at the other people behind the project, specifically for the X-Men film, as far as the director and the writers go and everything like that. And we're going to talk possibilities about other casting, really, because, you know, we've just got a handful of the characters. We can sort of, you know, we'll read about Mr. Sinister, we'll read about those storylines, and we'll see who else may be brought into the mix. I would imagine we're going to get a couple more X-Men in here. And with Mr. Sinister and Emma Frost there, we're pretty stacked up as far as villains go. However, sometimes Emma is not a villain, although most of the time she is. So I think that they're going to lean that way with Emma being a villain yet again. But there are runs in the comic books where she essentially kind of takes over as a team leader and is a good guy, or at least, you know, part of the X-Men, as it were. So we're going to get into everything. Let me know in the comments. I'm as far as the comics go, I'm kind of, you know, I'm well versed in a small section of the comic book as far as X-Men goes. But I, you know, love the animated series. I've dove back into like Days of Future Past and the Phoenix Saga. Like, I've gone back to those Chris Claremont runs and read some of the bigger stories. So, you know, there's a smattering of X-Men knowledge there. Let me know in the comments if you're a big comic fan, what you think this all means. You know, bringing in Mr. Sinister and bringing in this mixture of characters, where you think the storyline's going to go. I'll also let you guys know where I think it's going to go, especially based on what we've seen in Spider-Man Brand New Day and what we've seen in the Doomsday trailer. We'll talk about the Doomsday trailer a little bit. Still, we don't know too specifically how that's all going to shake out, but it looks like it's going to be sort of a slate clearing event, or the beginning, or, you know, to some degree there's going to be a bit of a clean slate, because we're going to see, you know, some of the characters. We see Cyclops in the Doomsday trailer. We're going to see a new version of Cyclops here. So either it's a multiverse thing, or it's you know, it's probably a mixture of some stuff. So anyways, guys, we're going to jump in. We're going to talk about it all. Long intro, I know. Hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything here. And if you're watching after the fact, jump into the comments section. Let me know your thoughts on the casting. Let me know what you think we're going to get out of this X-Men movie coming out. I believe it's May 5th, 2028, something like that. So let me know what you got. And if you're watching after the fact and you dig this kind of content, hit the hype button. I usually talk horror over here, so I need to know, do you want me to talk about more movies, more dive into other realms of nerd culture? Guys, I'm a nerd about a lot of stuff. Like, you know, I've definitely got my, oh my gosh, sorry guys, my computer's having a bit of a freak out. I've definitely got my corners where I'm more knowledgeable as far as my nerddom, but I'm a nerd about music, sports, movies, you know, books, whatever, just anything you can get nerdy about. I like to get nerdy about it. So yeah, join us, bringing it back to the horror. I'm going to jump over to the chat, say what's up to everyone hanging out. Thank you again so much for, you know, stopping by for a visit. It is Sunday, August 16th. It is almost 3:30 out there on the East Coast. And let's see what you got. Guys, if you do want if you want to go another hour, get a second hour in of all our nerdy talk, we can make that happen by reaching the super chat goal. So 5 super chats of $5 or more, and we'll get it cooking for a second hour here. So no pressure, no worries. I'm still here. I'm still here every Sunday for you guys, no matter what. So, well, you know, I mean, no matter what. If I got sick or I was out of town or something, it might be a little different. But anyways, let's see what you guys are up to. Look at that. We got Shannon from Talking Star Wars with her first. I love it. I love seeing the first. I feel like I've arrived now that people are jumping in the streams and saying first. And Lito saying second. What's happening, Lito? 2 of our great channel members right there. Joined by a third, and Miss Paula Fitzhenry. Shannon, I'm going to star that next chat of yours just so I can say hi to everyone. Haven't paid attention to X-Men since they turned Rebecca Remains Stamos blue. Oh man, that was 1999. Yeah, that was a long time ago. They were like the kind of the beginning of, you know, of this, the Marvel, you know, I know it was Fox that did those movies, but it was sort of, that's what picked up the interest in, oh my gosh, we can actually, you know, another studio was thinking, wow, we could get some of these characters and we could do something like what X-Men is doing, you know, just with another realm of Marvel. So yeah, that was a while ago, man, 27 years ago, that first X-Men movie came out. Yeah, and hopefully they put, you know, I'd love to see Mystique in an outfit we see her in traditionally in the comics, you know, the 80s, 70s, 80s look. I was saying the other night, Christine, by the way, welcome on in. I love her white dress, like the white dress with it's got the slits down the side, and she's got like, it's like gold skull belt. It's it's just a really cool look, you know. And her skin, I know I said it the other night. I think I said it the other night. Her skin is not, in the comics, at least most of the time, like the era that I grew up in, her skin just looks smooth and blue. It doesn't look like scaly. She doesn't look like a reptile, or, you know what I mean? Like there's not like that kind of armament in her skin. But I think they wanted to make her, you know, they ended up making her and Nightcrawler look very similar, because I think she's Nightcrawler's mom in some way. I don't know if it's a natural motherhood or if it was some sort of mutant kind of thing. I can't remember. See, like I've got my pockets where I'm nerdy. I can't remember all the details. And guys, like the comics are like soap operas. I mean, they really are. There's so many twists and turns and different, like, you know, reboots and retcons. They're taking all of our horror stars. They are. I mean, Indy Navarrete, though, she's only been in one horror movie, right? Her other stuff, like she was in the Lois and what was it? Not Lois and Clark, because that's the older show. Superman and Lois. She was on that show, so she's got like a background in, you know, the comic book stuff. And then she was a Twitch streamer for a while, so she's just got all that nerdy culture, you know. Samara, it is really cool seeing Samara get out there. I think she's really talented, and yeah, she's definitely, you know, horror is like kind of what's made her, I guess. It is cool seeing her as Emma Frost, though. I think she's that's about as perfect casting as you can get, I think, as far as like matching the look and matching the like a sexy but dangerous kind of look that Samara has. You know what I mean? Like she's absolutely beautiful and everything, but she's got this energy about her, and you know, the way she performs her roles, where it does feel like she's got an edge. You know, I like that. I really like that for Emma. And January Jones played Emma very like aloof and kind of disinterested, which is like pretty true to the character. Like Emma Frost is, at least in the you know, the comic book runs that I know, it's not that she's a completely passive character. She's very like capable, and you know, her powers are extremely powerful, but she's not as she is a little, like I think January Jones doing the aloof thing, like to me fit Emma. You know, that Emma is sort of like her prize is different than the prize of Sebastian Shaw or the prize of Magneto. You know, that there are different things that she's after. So I like that about her. And I think Samara will be able to bring more personality. So for a casual fan, or maybe a fan that likes a more modern take on Emma Frost, I think we're going to get that from Samara. A character that's a lot more impactful and kind of going out and trying to get it. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, they're taking some of those horror stars. I don't know everyone. Like a lot of these young guys, we'll bring up one of the images, but like, yeah, I mean, Christopher Abbott, he was in Wolfman, so that's a horror movie. Mara Boyd and Kit Connor, I have no fucking clue who these people are. Like, we'll look them up on IMDb. We'll do all that. I'm an old guy. I turned 44 in May. So some of these, like, I don't know anything about those two actors. All of the other performers I am aware of and have seen them perform, in most cases more than once, or in more than one property. So yeah. Let's see here. Who else do we have? We've got, I love seeing the chatter. Tia Nina, what's happening? Tia, welcome on in, one of our great channel members. How are you doing, Miss Tia? We got Dot joining us. How are you doing, Dottie? Welcome on in. Midnight Vestige, what's happening, Daniel? Welcome on in, sir. Hope you're doing very, very well. Duncan is back home, and I'm back in my regular spot. I'm not staying at my sister's anymore, so no co-host Duncan. But guys, don't worry. My sister and my brother-in-law go and visit. They take trips throughout the year, and they're gonna go visit my nephew. My nephew plays baseball in college. He's really, really damn good. The kid's gonna go pro. I don't think he watches my long form content like my live stream, so I can say it won't jinx him. I mean, if he keeps on going the way he's going, I don't see it not happening. So that's how good he is. They're going to go out and watch him play at random, whenever they decide this coming school year. So there will be times when I stream and Duncan will be there. What's happening, Astro Juicy? Welcome on in. Paula Fitzhenry brings up something they forgot Wolverine. I'm going to highlight that one for later, Paula. And I want to go back to that. Yeah. Indy Navarrete getting cast this quick into Marvel. I'm on that. Well, I think she's absolutely strong enough as a performer to take it on. I only question the casting because of the way that I'm used to seeing Rogue and the way that I think of Rogue. And when I look at Indy, I don't see Rogue at all. I see something closer to like Mystique. And I know maybe it doesn't really make sense because like Mystique is Rogue's mom. So you'd be like, well, if she can play Mystique, why can't she play Rogue? But Mystique is just more angular featured in the face, darker features just overall. So angular, really like Indy Navarrete's hair is like black. Obviously they can dye her hair. Like, Rogue, I would always think of as like brunette with like a little hint of auburn when the light hits it. Obviously she's got that white streak. I mean, that's the easiest thing they can do is change the hair color. It's weird. Like I would say like, hey, Indy, can you go eat some Haagen-Dazs and some cheeseburgers? Because I would love to see Rogue have a little bit of a baby face. I don't know why. I'm sure there are interpretations of Rogue where she's a little more like cut and chiseled in her facial features. But Indy Navarrete to me just has a little bit too much of an angular face to really be like a perfect match. But these don't have to be perfect. I want everyone to understand. I'm not saying like, oh, this is bullshit that they cast her in that. It's just that I see her and I'm like, oh, I could see her as other characters that would be really valuable to have in this franchise very early on, and characters they've already had in the earlier iterations of the franchise. So those are the things I think about. And I do think she's talented enough, Derek. It is very quick after Obsession, but hey, it just goes to show you that when you put out a performance like that in a movie that performs well, just the fact that you're in a movie that performs well, that'll help. I mean, she's really good in Obsession. You can think whatever you like, obviously think of whatever you want about Obsession as far as, if it's the kind of film you really dig and et cetera, et cetera. But man, that performance is killer. Like her and Michael Johnston are incredible in that movie. So I think rightly so. And just a little quick thing about Obsession, since we are a horror channel. How about that art director or whoever that was that bitched about getting paid $7,000 for working on Obsession and basically like put themselves on a blacklist? Like, look at what Indy Navarrete did here. She's I think she was paid like 20,000, maybe 30,000 for Obsession. It was not that much, relatively speaking. It was a small movie, 750,000 to make, and I think she got 20,000 for like probably 20 days of work, 25 days of work. So pretty good pay scale compared to what most people would make in that amount of time, right? Working a regular job. So yeah, it's just funny to be like, wow, art director lady. I think that's what the role was that she had. If you just kind of shut your mouth and put that resume out there, like you could have been, maybe not working on something like Marvel, but you could have been getting the paycheck that you wanted, Let's see who else we have here. Yeah, that's another thing too, is I'm like, Adam, you signed up again with Disney after what they did to you in Star Wars. And granted, they paid him a lot of money, right? But man, they fucked that character up. Kylo Ren was so awesome in the first movie. They fucked him up. Magneto is Wanda and Quicksilver's father, but it got retconned likely because of rights issues. I'd love to see it happen now. Well, I don't know if they really retcon it, Ty. They didn't address it directly in the Fox days, but in, gosh, is it First Class? No, Days of Future Past. When Magneto and Professor X go to visit Quicksilver, there is when they're in the elevator going down, or no, it's when Professor X and Wolverine are with Quicksilver. Wait. No, it's when they've already rescued Magneto. They're going back up the elevator or whatever. They're leaving after that amazing set piece. And Quicksilver says something about like, gosh, what does he say? There's a line he says where like, oh, my mom visited, like, where are you from? Like, my mom visited there. Something like that. He makes some sort of mention to Magneto, and Magneto makes this face and like, looks away from him. And it's just, there's a little bit of like a, if you know, for the comic book fans kind of thing. There's it's been a couple years since I've watched that movie, guys. I'm sorry. I can't remember the exact thing that he brings up, but he makes some sort of, allusion to the fact that like, oh, there could be a connection there between you and my mom. And Magneto's like, nope, not me. Couldn't be me. Couldn't be me. Yeah, she's got to do the accent. That's a big thing. That is a big thing. If she doesn't have, and I want it to be the raspy voice because that's what I know from the cartoon. I just love that Southern accent with that rasp on it. There's something just incredibly charming. But yeah, she's got to really be sweet and Southernly with that accent. It's got to be, if that doesn't work, then I'm going to sit there like this the whole movie. I'm just going to make angry video game nerd face the whole movie. Holy cow, Gina dropping in my chunky Jordy, celebrating 24 months of channel membership. Holy cow, 2 years of channel membership. Thank you so very much, Gina. That is incredible that you've been here with us as a member for 2 years. Thank you. I hope you and Ziggy Puppy Pup are having a great night so far. I don't care. I grew on the 90s cartoon of X-Men, but at this point, I don't care what happens with Marvel. I haven't watched any since Loki season 1, but here to hang out at least. Yeah, I'm a sucker for the X-Men, Daniel. They're just like, that's my comic book group that I care about the most. And since I've got that AMC A-list, like, I go and see movies that I would absolutely not see if I didn't have it. Like, I skipped a whole like phase or two pretty much of Marvel. When they got to the point where they were telling like, they're like, hey, grown men, we don't need you to watch our movies. We don't like you. I was like, all right, see you later. Like, don't have to tell me twice. I'm out of here. I'll go no contact like a motherfucker. And I fucking will. Oh, it pisses people off when they tell you they don't want you to talk to them and then you don't talk to them. Man, they get really upset. Linda, one of our great channel members. What's happening? Linda, hope you're doing very, very well. The X-Women, yes. Well, X-Men, it just includes everyone. You know what I mean? The term, it's like human. The term man or men can include everyone, Todos. It's like, usually we don't have gendered words in English, but in that instance, when you say mankind, it includes everyone. It is essentially a, not genderless, but an all-inclusive term. What's happening, Izzy? Dig the shirt, man. Very curious to see what they do with this new film. Yeah, this is the cool like Jim Lee X-Men. I mean, even Wolvie in his old costume still looks great. I mean, just the shading and the style and everything. I mean, Indy Navarrete could have been Psylocke, like right there, bottom of the shirt, middle frame. Like, they could have had her be Psylocke. Like, that could have been really cool too. I think that would have been a good fit for her facial structure and everything like that. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, guys, if we get like a Beast announcement. You've got Scott and you've got Jean. It just makes sense to have Hank, and it makes sense to have Bobby. And I don't know if they're going to do Bobby. I think it would be really cool if we did Bobby, and I want to see an Iceman that really is just like the Iceman, like he made of ice. The way that they kind of do that with him, he transforms into like the ice version, like in Days of Future Past. But I want to see the Bobby that's just sort of like that all the time. In fact, I know it's super dorky, but I love if you guys have never seen X-Men #1 from, I think it's 1963. If you've never seen or read that comic or seen the cover or whatever, like it's a sweet comic. Like I have a reprint of it. They did these reprints like back in the 90s. So an Iceman just looks like not a snowman, but not like a traditional, oval circular kind of snowman, but just literally a person built out of snow. So there's like this lumpy, snowy quality. It's not necessarily like ice, like not solid. It's kind of a cool look though. He's just got boots on. It's just like a naked snowman with boots. Iceman keeps his boots on when he knocks boots. You know what I mean? Duncan gonna take out a Davey butt. Is that what I said? I don't even remember what I said. So Jiggy went back and checked out the song. Yeah. Stab sniff. Stab sniff. Stab sniff. Everywhere. Welcome on in, Jiggy, one of our great channel members right there. Really appreciate the $5, Jiggy. So hyped that they announced Mr. Sinister. It opens up the doors for more awesome characters like Madeline Pryor and Cable. It does. Yeah. Linda, I'm worried that they picked an actor that looks nothing like Mr. Sinister, and it's going to be something that works for most mainstream audience members because they love Adam Driver. I mean, I do too. I think he's a fantastic performer. But he's got to go on like the Tom Brady, like boiled chicken with no dressing and water only. He's got to go on like the Tom Brady diet to get this. Like, Adam Driver has a little bit of like a lumpy, long potato head. You know, it's just this like almost amorphous blob. I mean, I'm not saying the guy's like ugly. I'm just saying like Mr. Sinister is chiseled like Arnold Schwarzenegger from like Commando, like that sort of head, you know, and really the body too. Like there's just, when I heard that Adam Driver was playing Mr. Sinister, I'm like, well, I'd rather have him playing like a version of Magneto. Like that makes more sense to me as far as like the way he looks. I could see that a lot more. You know, like a long white-haired Magneto or something like that. But Mr. Sinister, I don't know. I want somebody like, I think I mentioned it the other night. I know he's relatively young, but whatever, you're going to put him in, hopefully, god damn, if they don't put him in the white makeup. If we don't get white makeup with the black lips and the diamond on the head and the fucking sharp teeth, like, then I don't know why they're even doing Mr. Sinister. I don't want to see some, you know, I look at more modern comics sometimes and I see a lot of really bad art, and I don't know why how these artists got jobs making comics, because the quality is just like, there's not as much detail. The characters look more like a normal, I guess, which I don't know if that's like, is maybe for some people they're like, oh, I love a comic book that looks a little more grounded, but like I don't really want to see like a version of Mr. Sinister that looks like Morbius or just looks like a straight up businessman. I mean, I know he's got like that part of his story, but if we're putting Mr. Sinister in an X-Men movie, like I want like the blackish, like the blue metal suit, you know, and the big old whatever he's got, the big old accoutrement on his back or whatever. I want the magic. Like I want the opening of the movie to be like Apocalypse finding him and turning him into, you know, like I'd imagine we're going to get some of that backstory. We'll dive into some of Mr. Sinister's backstory. They also like changed his last name, so maybe they're going with that. There's a different version in the comics that I'm not, that I don't know about yet. Because guys, Mr. Sinister's only been around since '87, so he's about to turn 40, which is relatively young for a comic book character. But he was introduced in '87. And Nathan Essex is his name in the comics originally. So maybe the version that they're having Adam Driver play is the more like the newer versions to me just looks like Dracula in a suit. It doesn't really look like Mr. Sinister to me. It looks a little too normal. And I think we need to lean into the more comic book style and lean away from the photoreal kind of style. But I do like the idea, you know, Cable, love him in Deadpool. And it's a great way to bring him in. It's a great way to make Scott and Jean the focal point of the story. And I think that's where the story should be. I mean, that's where X-Men got their footing. So, you know, Paula said here, I'm going to grab Paula's super chat. Let's see. Gosh, I missed a couple of, just from, guys, I'm so sorry that I missed some of these. StreamYard, sometimes when I go through the comments, it will just jump and I don't even know that I've missed previous chats because it just jumps somewhere. So my bad. I'm going to grab all those super chats. But Paula said they forgot Wolverine. Well, you know, Wolverine didn't join the X-Men until 1975, Giant Size X-Men #1. So it was the reboot of X-Men because, guys, this is not like this isn't secret history, and it's not like this is something that's super trivial. But depending on how into or interested in the actual comic books and source material you are, you may not know this. But Marvel went through a lot of periods where they were really not successful. The X-Men comics struggled for like mightily for years, and they were about to like get rid of it. You know, Giant Size X-Men #1 from 1975 was sort of like a last ditch effort. Like, hey, can we reboot this and can it be a thing? And oh yeah, it definitely popped off and became a thing. But it was a brand new team. You know, the older X-Men team basically like the newer X-Men team go to try to rescue the older X-Men team, and some of the older X-Men like get killed in that. I think it's that very first giant size issue, and that's where Wolverine joins the team. Colossus is there. You know, it's more of this kind of team that you see in giant size X-Men. Storm is more of a leader at that point as well, but Wolverine wasn't there for the beginning. So, and then also, Paula, think about this. They might just be waiting to make that announcement. Maybe they've got somebody like that's just going to blow everyone's mind. Or maybe they don't want to, you know, if they're going to show Magneto, or, you know, if they're going to have another big bad that they want to bring into the world, or somebody like Wolverine, they might tease those things in a post-credit sequence. Or they just might not tell us and surprise us with a cameo, because they like to do that in these movies as well. But you know, as far as the stunt casting stuff goes, guys, I think back to the original X-Men film, and yeah, Ian McKellen and Sir Patrick Stewart, and Halle Berry, those were the three names where you're like, okay, these are the really, really big names, right? But everyone else, not saying they were nobodies, but Famke Janssen, she was, you know, she was a Bond girl and all that stuff, but it wasn't like she wasn't the level of Halle Berry or the, you know, the two knighted British actors, or yeah. So, you know, you've got James Marsden as Cyclops, Famke Janssen as Jean Grey. They were up and comers with good careers, but they weren't the stars that like we may think of them now, like when we look back. Hugh Jackman, I think that was his first like movie role. And unless you were a big fan of musicals and lived in Australia, it was probably very unlikely you even knew who Hugh Jackman was. Like if you were a massive musical theater fan, you know, worldwide, globally, you pay attention to musical theater everywhere, you probably knew about Hugh Jackman, but most people didn't, right? So I think that's one of the reasons why Wolverine worked so well for him. And I think there's something about hiring people that have something to prove, that aren't established stars, that and it's different for every performer. Every performer is different, because, you know, but I think a lot of times it's easier for them to be a bit more hungry, more ambitious in their performance. There's more of a suspension of disbelief from the audience, right? When you see somebody that you know, you sit there and like Tom Cruise is in Mission Impossible, like you're sitting there thinking Tom Cruise. You're not thinking that he's transformed into this character from Mission Impossible. Tom Cruise is transformed in other roles that he's been in, like Les Grossman from Tropic Thunder. But, you know, you sit there and you can't get it out of your head that this is this massive star that's been huge in Hollywood for over 40 years, right? And I think that's what we run into when a whole cast seems to be like kind of stunt casted. You're like, oh, fuck. Like, we're just going to be sitting there thinking about, oh, this is a super group, you know, like a super band. Like, it's just, you know, how many super groups, when you think about musicians, there's a couple that have done it pretty well, but you get all that star power in there, it doesn't always make the best shit, you know? So I don't know if they forgot Wolverine, but yeah, they're not ready to announce him yet, if he's going to be the thing. Nathan Thornwood dropping a $10 super chat. Nathan, thank you so very much. He says, I'm back. Writing is a very lovely craft, and it didn't pan out. I was starting to miss you in the horror community, so I created a new horror channel using my pseudonym. Hell yeah, Nathan. Where can we find your channel? YouTube won't allow you to drop a link or anything, but if you want to let us know the name of your channel, if you're interested in having people check out what you're doing, then absolutely, by all means, share that channel name, and we'll have one of the mods, or I can actually share the link or something for you. But yeah, writing is lovely. It is, you know, being creative is super fun. The trick to having creativity become lucrative, that is the trick, huh? That's the really tough thing. It is anybody that can make a living doing art at all, if it's your art or if you're working on any art project, you're able to make a living as an artist in any capacity, is a very difficult thing to do. And it takes a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of, I mean, there's so many things that go into that. So it's very difficult stuff. Here's the cool thing though, Nathan, it doesn't mean you have to stop writing, and it doesn't mean that an opportunity still can't come out of it all, right? It, you know, maybe for you, it means that, okay, you're not going to dump as many hours into it as you were initially planning to, but man, there are plenty of stories out there of people that have found success with writing, or their art or whatever, and it's something that they continue to work on the side, and they continue to look for that opportunity, you know, rub shoulders with the right people and everything, and you just never know. You never know. So, and then even, you know, like you're saying, you can pour that creativity into your into a new channel for sure, man. There's so much room in YouTube. There's room for everyone here on YouTube. It does take a lot of time and all that stuff, but there's room for everyone. Any other horror actors, actresses you could see in X-Men as the remaining characters? Well, I mean, let's just go with Michael Johnston from Obsession. Let's just roll on the Obsession train. He could play Hank McCoy easy. I could see him as Hank McCoy. I could see, you know, you want somebody bigger as Colossus, because obviously he's going to get bigger when he turns into like Metal Colossus. But trying to think if there's somebody like younger that would be a good Colossus, because man, Colossus is a big fucker. Horror actors and actresses. Well, man, Daphne Keane was in she was in Whistle, so she's gone into horror after being in the comics, and I would love to see her again. I know she was in Deadpool and Wolverine, and I know they're kind of redoing this whole thing, but I think she's awesome as X-23. Who else? I don't know. I'm trying to think right now, and it's I would say, what's his name? I can't think of the actor's name. He plays Joseph in Evil Dead Burn. He's kind of like the wuss character in Evil Dead Burn, like the guy that should do something that doesn't. He's got a look to him. I could see him as one of these characters. It's funny, he reminds me of Anton Yelchin in the face. Rest in peace. So yeah, he could, man, if you wanted like if they really want to recast and they want to do like a young Magneto, I don't know. I'd have to think about it a little bit more, Shannon. That's a good question. That is a good question. Specifically trying to think out of horror, what would we do? Oh, I mean, I'm just trying to think of horror movies I've enjoyed recently. So, I mean, goddamn, dude. Addison Rae as Rogue. I don't know if she's got the acting chops, but she's got the look. Yeah. From Thanksgiving, Addison Rae. I mean, she's also a pop star. What's her name? Nell Verloc, who was in Thanksgiving. I think she's got a pretty cool look too. I don't know. Like, I can. There's, you know, all sorts of great actors and actresses coming out of horror. And thank you so much for the 5, Shannon. Really do appreciate you. Jeff, aka Down Is Up, one of our great channel members, says, "What's up, Davey and everyone in the Deathray squad? I hope everyone's enjoying their weekend." Well, I sure am, Jeff. Thank you so very much, man. Appreciate the support there. And we got M, aka dropping a 500 jewels. Ooh, with a watermelon. M knows me so well. Guys, I'm such a watermelon fiend. The actual fruit, yes. The Jolly Ranchers, absolutely. Bubblicious, Trolley sour watermelon gummy sharks. You know, I mean, if it's watermelon, I'm all over it. I am all over it. Let me see here. One more from Shannon from Talking Star Wars. I just want to get to this before jumping back over with you guys. I'm saying mixed bag for now, but Kevin Feige teased there's more casting to come. So I guess it depends on who they get next. Feel like they'll get a big name actor in their 40s for Magneto. Are they going to do Magneto and Sinister together? Not that you can't, because Magneto sort of can go back and forth. Magneto like plays the middle. So in a movie where Mr. Sinister is the bad guy, you would think that Magneto would kind of be the more on the good side, like more with the X-Men. You know, not reluctantly in some ways, but also like Magneto time after time in the comics will team up with the X-Men when their goals align, right? There's that. We all know how many times they say old friend in the movies already. So everyone knows that Charles and Magneto have a friendship with a deep undercurrent of rivalry, you know, but there is that friendship there. And ultimately Magneto is sort of like, you know, whatever just makes it to where it's only mutants living. So with Mr. Sinister, he's more about like propagating the species and making like the ultimate mutants. So, you know, Magneto would probably only be threatened by Mr. Sinister if Mr. Sinister were basically kind of like, Mr. Sinister's turned into the magical creature he is by Apocalypse. And Apocalypse is basically like, it's only the really powerful mutants that should be alive. It's not even like the regular everyday mutants maybe don't need to even be alive. So he's I don't know. He's very extreme. He's very, what kind of words can I use that YouTube won't flag me for? I'm trying to think of a creative way to say it. But yeah, if you throw Magneto in there, it'll be interesting because like if they mix Genosha with Mr. Sinister, which they could, like I think in the comics, Mr. Sinister is not directly involved with Genosha, but they made him involved with Genosha in the X-Men 97 animated series that they just rebooted. So there's a big old massacre on Genosha where the Sentinels kill like millions of mutants, and Mr. Sinister is basically responsible for it in the newer animated version. But in the comics, I think it's just something that happens because Genosha is just run by crazy genocidal dictators, right? So after everything happens with Genosha and it's obliterated and the mutants sort of like end up coming back and like winning the day, Magneto turns Genosha into like a sanctuary for mutants, and it's like the place where he sort of like presides over, right? So you could mix the two. You could mix the two for sure. Okay, I think I'm all caught up on everything over there. I'm going to jump back on over with you guys here. What's happening, Steph? Welcome on in. Hope you're doing so well. Dominic says, I don't know much about the X-Men films, but I heard Hillbilly Jim can fart inside out. That's impressive to me. Hillbilly Jim. I don't know. Who is Hillbilly Jim? Is that a character I should know about? Oh, he's a American wrestler. Well, okay. Now I recognize him because I had the LJN doll for this one. Holy cow, 6'7". This guy's still alive. 74 years old. I don't know anything about that. Was he in one of the X-Men movies? Is that why he's getting play here in the he was a WWE crowd favorite? No, he wasn't. He was a WWF crowd favorite. They just can't use the acronym anymore. What's happening, Gavin? Welcome on in. Hope you're doing very well. Yeah, I mean, that's just the way it is because Marvel is, I mean, all of Hollywood's kind of incestuous with the casting. I mean, Pedro Pascal is legally obligated to be in every movie. So, yeah, I mean, it's just like, and I think that's another thing. It's kind of what I'm getting to. It's difficult for me to articulate it, but you guys know I come from a punk rock background. I enjoy some things in the mainstream, but a lot of stuff in the mainstream, I'm just kind of like, look at like that. Like, you are going to have to win me over mainstream. Like, I am not going to like just automatically, like you actually have to earn it with this one. So when I see all that stuff and it's just like, oh, it's the same people getting cast. The same 5 big actors and actresses are like just swapping. They're just rotating through all the big movies. And it's just this cyclical blah, blah, blah kind of thing. And just like, for me, I'm just sort of like, okay, well, that ruins the suspension for disbelief going into the movie. And it doesn't mean that stars shouldn't be in movies, but I think sometimes the casting is a little too like samey. Yeah. Ooh, Leto must know something we don't know. He's in the LA area and he's got friends all over. So, man, I hope they really nail that casting, Leto. But yeah, I would imagine that if they're going to have Wolverine in this movie, it would, the movie doesn't come out until 2028. They don't need to tell us about that until Comic-Con next summer. They could reveal that. You know what I mean? So I don't mind. I like the slow drip of information for sure. It is a nerd alert. It is. Yeah. One of these streams, Duncan going to take over Davey and be titled. Duncan's too sweet for that, guys. He's too sweet. He's way too sweet. Let's see what's going on. Holy cow. We reached our super chat goal. You guys are amazing. Thank you so very much. I thought I put a poll. Didn't I put a poll in the chat? Why is it not showing up on the YouTube side? What is going on? YouTube? Sorry, guys. I'm fighting with my computer right now. Okay, there we go. What do you think of the X-Men casting of D23? It's a mixed bag, 48% out of 25 votes. Okay, now I feel a little bit better that I'm not the only one that just is like, I don't hate it, but I'm also like, again, I'm not going to just shovel it in and smile and and love every minute of it just because I like these performers. It's about liking the performers, liking who they're cast as, and just thinking about the whole piece. So again, I think Indy Navarrete is very talented. She's super lovely, and I can think of like 2 or 3 other X-Men characters that she would just immediately look a lot more like and kind of fit in more as than Rogue. And it doesn't mean she's not going to be great as Rogue. It just means based on just the very simple statement that she's going to play Rogue and what that could all mean, I've got my concerns, you know? So yeah, Adam Driver, man, I don't know what they're going to do, guys. I'll say it again, just if there's anyone new watching this time that didn't watch the other night, if they do like a penguin kind of makeup, you know, Colin Farrell, like transforming him, if they can do that, cool. He's got the chops, right? So I just want him to look like Mr. Sinister, and if he doesn't, I'm going to be really bummed out because I think Mr. Sinister is one of those characters that you just really got to get done very well. Again, if he doesn't have sharp teeth, if he doesn't have like the white skin and the black lips and like the diamond on his forehead, like I want the full Mr. Sinister Monty. Excited about X-Men cast. Sadie as Jean, Kit is Cyclops, Samara as Emma. And Kit, I don't know, what has Kit Connor been in? Like, I have no idea who this guy is. We'll take a look at the graphic and everything here in a sec, but it's funny, we're 45 minutes in and I still feel like I'm just getting to the hellos. I'm a half hour behind on the chat. Sadie's a great casting, yeah. Okay, guys, I'm going to skip ahead. If there's a super chat, I will grab a super chat, but I might miss some of these, right? As for the new movie or the new X-Men casting, I wish they'd gone an unknown to play Doom. Well, and Doom is just Avengers Doomsday, right? So I don't think Doom's going to be part of the X-Men. But yeah, I mean, it is Marvel is basically, they know that RDJ is the meal ticket, right? People buy tickets when they see Robert Downey Jr. Worldwide, people buy tickets. Everyone loves Robert Downey Jr. That's all. I mean, I like him as a performer. I think he's great. I think it's awesome that there's a bankable star that no matter what, you know, region you put this movie in, if you put that actor in there, that people are going to gravitate. I think that's a really cool thing. I think it's odd that they kill him off as Tony and they're bringing him back as Doom. His voice sounds great in the trailer. Whatever he's doing with his accent, Robert Downey Jr. has always been really good at accents. Like, I mean, even his, you know, when he plays Sherlock Holmes, like it's a pretty good, for a guy that's like American as fuck. I don't know, if you're a Brit in the house, you let me know. It's you know, an accent, or you know, he's maybe amalgamation of Brit accents that he puts into the character. But as far as an American doing a British accent, I feel like he gives it his all. Whereas sometimes I hear Americans doing British accents, like Kiefer Sutherland in like Pompeii, where it's like, what is that? Like that doesn't even sound like Vincent Price, who's an American that has a little bit of a light British kind of vibe to his accent. I'm like, you're not even there. So anyways, it is odd, you know, going with an unknown. I understand why they went with a star with Doom, because it's Doom, and I think of like, to me, it's like Avengers. I expect them to do all the stunt casting, but I was really hoping with X-Men. I don't know why, just because that's how they kind of used to do it. I was really hoping we were going to get some more deep cuts. You know, we'll see. I still might see the movie, but I'm not going to be able to stop imagining RDJ's Iron Man overlaid atop Doom. We probably won't see Doom's face. I mean, will we see Doom's face? I don't know. Maybe in a finale we'll see Doom's face. I think they're going to keep him covered up quite a bit. And I know you bring in RDJ and you want to take the mask off, right? But they already did that to let us know that it was him, like at San Diego Comic-Con last year. Traditionally in the comics, Doom doesn't take that mask off. It's very, very rare you would see Doom's face, you know? So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what they do. It will be interesting. I would prefer they don't show his face, you know, even though it is RDJ. But I guess what they imply that he takes off the mask and he shows Franklin his face at the end of Fantastic Four, right? And again, with the face too, I don't want him to have massive scarring. I want the version of Doom that's like got a little tiny scar, but he's so vain that he feels just absolutely disgusting and has to cover his face. Who are these young peoples? Yeah, let's go ahead. Let me just bring up the graphic and we'll take a look here. And then I'm going to catch up with the chat and everything, guys. So again, if there's something I missed that's really important, you can put it in again. If you drop a super chat, even if it's like a $2 or whatever, I guarantee I won't miss it. Kit Connor is phenomenal. I'm most hyped for him as casting as Cyclops. What has he been in, Linda? I don't recognize his name, but I'll bring up the graphic and we'll pop on over to the IMDb, right? Everyone is like, Davey, you know, your channel's okay and everything, but really, like, if you could just like replace you with Duncan, that would be super cool, and turn it into an AI channel where it's just Duncan. It's just like your voice, but it looks like Duncan's doing your reviews and stuff. That would be dope. Why are you going to turn the volume down? I didn't get into any spoilers for Brand New Day yet, Paula. So we might get into some, like, I'm not going to sit there and expose every little thing in the film, but when we talk deeper about the X-Men stuff here in our second hour, I am going to have to mention a couple elements from Spider-Man Brand New Day. But it's not like, I'm not going to tell you like, oh, this person lives or this person dies, or we're not going to get into that. It's mainly about this. In the X-Men comics, there are these collars that mutants have to wear when they're in Genosha, or just whenever they want mutants to not be able to use their powers. So there's an element of that collar that gets introduced in Brand New Day. So you can't really talk about it. It seems like we're going there. If they do Genosha, or even if they just do the Mr. Sinister line and it doesn't involve Genosha, Mr. Sinister has his own group of marauders. He's got his own like lair and everything like that. He puts those collars, or I don't know if he uses, I think he uses the collars, or he's got some magical way of stopping the powers. But I think that those chips, the inhibitor chips, going to come back in. What's his name? We got to look out for him in the league. What's his name? We got to look out for him in the league. Let's see here. What, Mud, are you talking about an actor from the TV show The League that could be in X-Men? The only Wolverine I want is Laura Kinney as New Wolverine. Who the hell is New Wolverine? No, we cannot. We're not doing, no. Guys, we can do check the box casting for a lot of characters, but it's got to either be Logan as Wolverine or X23. If you want your female Wolverine, just give us X23. That would, honestly, guys, if they just did a straight up like resurrection casting and it's a woman playing Wolverine, that would destroy this movie, I would imagine. Let's see here. Okay, guys. Jean, welcome on in. I hope you're doing very, very well, miss. It'll be its own Marvel thing. But they are bringing in some of the Fox actors, and they're bringing in that line of characters to Avengers Doomsday, Gav. So I think Avengers Doomsday is going to wrap up the Fox stuff that we know, and then they're relaunching with the movie in 2028. So it should be all pretty fresh. I'm surprised I actually remembered that. Okay, guys, let me grab this image here. These images, like, unfortunately, I was trying to find like a high-res image. It was pretty difficult. And which one am I going for here? Okay. One of those. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm just like, I've got a couple different images brought up here, and I just want to make sure I'm grabbing. Okay. I think I like the way this one looks better. So we'll do that. And we're going to do that. How about it? Oh my gosh, I'm in a circle. Ah, I'm in the Phantom Zone. Okay. It doesn't look so bad. It doesn't look so bad here. Okay. It may be a little bit small. Let's see. I can't make it bigger. Okay. So Christopher Abbott as Professor X. I actually think he's got a pretty good look for Professor X. I do. I've only seen him in Wolfman, and he's not bad in Wolfman, and he's not great in Wolfman. He's like fine. He's serviceable. He's, you know, he played the character very soft and very reserved, but that's the way the character was written in Wolfman. I can see him as Professor X. Like, I've seen, you know, they've shown pictures where this picture here, they pick a picture of him where he's got like a full beard and a, you know, not long hair, but a pretty decent hair growth there. But I've seen pictures of him where he doesn't have facial hair. He has shorter hair on top. Like, I can see it for sure. So Christopher Abbott as Professor X, you get a thumbs up, because honestly, they probably could have gone with somebody that was like a massive name for Professor X if they wanted to. But I think what they're saying with this casting is like, hey, we're going to make it more about, in this movie, it's going to be more about the villains with the stunt casting. And then also it's more about bringing up Kit and Sadie as Scott and Jean. You know, Sadie's already, you know, she's a star in her own right, but she's about to go from Netflix star, I mean, on one of the biggest shows ever, but she's about to go from streaming star to like full blown movie star. Like she is going to be there. Her and Indy are going to like hit that mark together, you know, because I'll tell you why. Again, not spoilers for Spider-Man Brand New Day, but she's fucking incredible in that movie as Jean Grey. She's really good. I think one of the movie has good performances and everything, but it's like it's all about her and Tom Holland as far as like the performances that were standouts for me in that one. You know, Sadie's just got it. She's just got it. So yeah, Christopher Abbott is Professor X. I dig that. Kit Connor. Let's bring up Kit Connor on the old IMDb bizzle, because I need to know what the hell this guy has done. I am so out of touch with these damn young actors. You know what I mean? He does have a good look. Like I think his look matches for Scott. You know, he's got a little bit of the auburn in the hair. The X-Men are fucking famous for doing that. Like, go grab an X-Men comic and see, and it's probably just a way that they make the hair, they give the hair texture, and when you're drawing hair, you know, is they all have this little bit of auburn. It's like fucking Scream 2. Everyone's got highlights. Okay, so Heartstopper, I have no idea what that is. TV show. Okay. Oh, he plays older Reggie in Rocket Man. His Dark Materials, that title of that show, I don't know why. Certain titles you guys will know. You'll be like, what's Davey's problem? Certain titles give me the ick, and something called His Dark Materials gives me that weird feeling where I just don't like the title. Wild Robot. Okay. I don't know I've not seen any of this stuff. Yeah, I've never seen this guy. Oh, Ready Player One. He's in that back in 2018. Okay. Yeah, I've never seen this guy in anything. Yeah. Just seeing if there's, I mean, I recognize some of these, you know, Wild Robot. I recognize that. Oh, and there's Heartstopper and then Heartstopper Forever. Okay. So it's a TV show that turned into a movie or something. Okay. Well, all right. He's got a good look. I don't know if he's a good actor, but he looks to be built well to play a young Scott. And I dig the look. I think he's a good young Scott Summers there, just based on what I know, which unfortunately I can't speak to his acting ability, but based on what I know, what I can see here. All right, they did a good job there. Maya Boyd. Let's take a look at Maya Boyd. I again, no idea who she is. Haven't heard her and Kit. Never heard of them until the announcement here. I love that I just took a pause there because it's so funny. Oh, never mind. I thought it said Untitled Marvel X-Men fan film, but it just says film. Okay, Maya Boyd. Let's see. I mean, she's beautiful. She's got great hair. I love a big wild woman hair. You guys know that I love wild woman hair. Just big and just like, yeah, let's get feral. Let's get a little caveman with it. You know what I mean? Okay, let's see what she's done. Wait a minute. She's been in nothing. She's been in Deadbeat. It's a short. Is that true? This woman's been in nothing? She was the Broadway show with Tamsin Fadal. She played herself in two episodes. So she's a Broadway stage actress. That's what it sounds like. And Deadbeat, which is a 1-star short. Is that what that's saying? 1-star short? Deadbeat. And is this animated? And it looks like it's animated, but it might be rotoscoped. But this looks like some sort of like pretty small project here. So I don't know what to say about Maya Boyd other than she does look like a young Storm to me. I do. I mean, you know, when we talk about facial structure and all those things that, you know, and talk about Indy Navarrete and how she doesn't really look like a rogue, you know, really easy rogue 1-to-1 for me. I look at Maya Boyd's face here and I'm like, she absolutely looks like Storm. She's got that really, I don't know. I'm looking at this picture where she's kind of looking over her shoulder. Maybe I should bring it up for you guys here. Yeah, I'll bring it up here. There we go. Can you guys see that? Like right there, I'm like the big time Storm energy there. Digging, you know, just everything. high cheekbones, luscious lips, prominent eyes. Love to see it. Very like comic booky, you know, like you want people that have kind of got like bigger, louder features in a way for a comic book movie. She looks great, you know, and it's all about what you do with Storm, right? So it's like we can look at these actors and say, hey, they're a good actor, or they look right in the role. It's what are you going to do with Storm? You know, are you going to like, are we ever going to get like Shadow King stuff with Storm? I think it would be really like, I'm one of those guys where I'm like, I don't think they've shown enough of Storm and enough of like, we only see Storm really, other than what there was like in the Apocalypse movie, we see a little bit of her when she's like in Egypt as a thief, just a little bit, but we don't really get like, there's a beautiful Storm backstory. They dive into it in the comic or in the animated show from the 90s, the original run of the animated show. And it's a really cool, like, everything in Africa with Storm is awesome. She's sort of seen as like a goddess and like, you know, sort of like the savior because she can affect the weather and so she can affect the crops and all that. So she has this really interesting backstory there. And then there's everything with like the Shadow King and that, gosh, what do they call that? Like in between realm. I know Star Wars has a name for it. It's not the Phantom Zone. Oh my gosh. Somebody who's an even bigger comic book nerd than me is going to have to jump in the chat and let me know. Because there's a huge psychological angle with Storm's character as well. And I don't think we've seen Storm fleshed out enough. We've seen her quite a bit in the movies and everything, and there have been some performances that are better than others. And, you know, I think Halle Berry, like, you know, got into the role after the first movie. She was a little stiff in the first movie, you know, as far as the performance goes. But I think Storm is... I kind of needs a bigger day. Like I would watch a Storm movie. Like if you did a movie just about Storm, I would be into that. And then Indy Navarrete here. We've already talked about her. Adam, we've talked about him. We've talked about Samara. So yeah, just basically hitting on the people we haven't talked about yet. And then as far as the film goes, you know, Jake Schreier is directing this one. He directed the Thunderbolts film, which I thought was absolutely incredible. I love that movie. It kind of brought me back to Marvel as far as like, okay, they can make good movies still. They can make a movie that's like fun and funny, but also, you know, takes the serious stuff serious. And I've said this so many times on the channel, but I guess it bears repeating because we're talking about comic book movies here again today. I did not expect from Thunderbolts for them to attack the mental health angle so well. Now, a lot of movies like talk about that stuff and try to deal with trauma and all that, you know, like it's kind of a trendy thing in all of film. It's not just horror. Like we see it a lot in horror lately, but it's all over the place, you know, like everyone's a victim and, you know, all that kind of stuff. But the way in Thunderbolts, the way it wasn't handled that way. It was handled more of like a, hey, everyone in this group has got their own unique mental struggle. None of them have the same mental struggle. But what they find out is that there's a common remedy to each one of these individual struggles. And I thought that was a really beautiful, you know, message in the film that just got put out there by what happened instead of them sitting there telling you. And the character of Bob from Thunderbolts, like some of the stuff he says in that movie, stuff I've been saying to myself since I was a little kid, and stuff I've never heard anyone else say or anyone else ever admit that they've said to themselves in their own head, right? And there were times watching Thunderbolts where I was like, oh my God, like I feel so, that part of me feels so seen. I didn't even know. I was like, you know, not really waiting for that to happen, but it was a kind of an overwhelming experience watching Thunderbolts for the first time and having it hit that way. So bringing over Jake Schreier, I love that. You know, he directed that, he directed Thunderbolts. And then also, guys, bringing over, I think it's Joanna Callow. Let me double check. Joanna Callow, who wrote Thunderbolts, is coming over to write the new X-Men movie, along with Lee Sung Jin, who wrote on this TV show Beef, along with Joanna. And Beef looks like he wrote like 5 episodes. Looks like to be a pretty funny show. Also, it's got that Beef has that Charles Melton guy who has been rumored to be playing Beast in the new X-Men movie. And not only did Lee Sung Jin work on Beef, but also it's something that Joanna Callow is a consulting producer for 10 episodes. So there's a little bit of overlap there. You know, these people have worked on the same project together. Also, Lee Sung Jin has written 26 episodes. He's a staff writer for 26 episodes on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So I think that bodes well for as far as, you know, people talk about how the Marvel humor can kind of get exhausting. Well, if the guy's worked on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, then maybe we're going to get a little bit of a different kind of vibe from his humor. He also wrote on Silicon Valley, Two Broke Girls, you know, other shows that have pretty good reviews as far as the comedy goes. So I think, like, ultimately, you know, here, let me bring it back on over to here just to show these guys, or maybe I can just go back on over here. I think we're in pretty good hands, probably about as good a hands as you can be in while being over at Disney. I think Disney has its limitations, guys. They certainly don't have their financial limitations, but creative wise and sensibilities, I do think they have their limitations. So, you know, I'm always cause of concern when Disney's doing anything that I care about. Absolutely. They don't fuck everything up. Not every time. There's going to be some good stuff that squeaks through. But I think by and large, I don't trust them. I'll just tell you that. Like, I don't. After what they did with Star Wars and then seeing the way that the Marvel Studios has, like, the way that the culture changed in Marvel Studios from being something that embraced and wanted the fans to be part of it to something that ultimately flat out rejected the fans. You know, people are going to be butthurt about that for a long time, and rightly so. It's just how it's going to be. Like, you can't tell people that their opinions don't matter or that something isn't made for them. You can't do that over and over and expect them to keep on coming back. At some point, they are going to listen, and they're going to stop doing the thing that either causes them, if you want to call it pain, or just is just frustrating for them. They're just going to stop giving you their money, you know? Yeah, they couldn't use the words mutant. It's so funny. They called them what, enhanced humans or whatever the hell they call them. Yeah. It'll be great when they can use the word mutant, right? It'll be refreshing. What's happening, Piss? Welcome on in. I'm an hour late on getting that one. They said you could control metal. My mom once knew a guy who could do that. There it is. Yep. Thank you so much, Daniel. That's the one. And M, I'm sure I said hello when you dropped your jewels. Thank you so very much. You know, you might have moved on to a project here this evening, but thank you so much for being a channel member and a moderator, M, and a dear friend. How about that? M and I caught up late last night for me, early in the day for her. Best part about D23, Kingdom Hearts 4, and Glenn Close. See, I don't know anything about Kingdom Hearts other than it's like Final Fantasy with Disney characters, I think. But like, I never played a Kingdom Hearts game. I think am I too old? But isn't it, Linda? Am I wrong in that, guys? I'm not saying it's like like Adam Driver. I love him in movies and everything, but when you say, oh, he's going to play the most chiseled villain in Marvel history, or the most chiseled faced villain in X-Men world, I don't see Adam Driver fitting in there. You know, he's got these jowls that sort of like the droopy jowl, the long, you know what I mean? But again, Tom Brady diet, gaunt, you know, if he starves himself and he makes his cheeks get sunk in, there you go. Well, Tarantino wanted to cast Adam Driver as Rambo, so maybe Adam's willing to get jacked. I mean, and Adam's like, he's in shape and everything. They could jack him up. Yeah, I mean, you put him in that suit, he'll look body-wise, he could look like, I mean, he looks like he's tall. Like Adam Driver looks to be taller than most actors. You know, he's probably, I don't know, 6'3". I don't know if somebody can look that up. But yeah, really, it's the face. I need Adam Driver's face to be like completely changed. Watermelon, yes. All right. Ooh, Weapon X. Should I call you Logan Weapon X? Jamie, welcome on in, guys. I know I am so far behind, guys. Adrian, James, welcome on in. Adrian, welcome on in. And Jamie, one of our great channel members, obviously, our original Death Squad mod. Davey's getting writer credits in one of my next videos. Guys, I watch M's videos so much that she was like, "Oh, I'm thinking about doing something about this." And I was like, "Oh, I can hear it now." And I was like, "Here's the opening line," like just like what I heard in my head. Whilst we await for a Friday the 13th film. That's kind of how I imagine. I don't know if I'm way off on that cadence. I know my voice isn't as high register as yours, but I think I got the cadence down. Them casting Maya Boyd has me feeling they're casting the right people for roles. I like seeing new blood. Yeah, that's and I said that at the beginning of the stream, and so that is encouraging that somebody like Maya Boyd is getting that opportunity. Now, I've never seen her in anything. If she's a stage performer, I'm guessing if she's a stage performer that's been cast in a Disney X-Men movie, I'd imagine she's really damn good, right? Because there are a lot of actresses out there that are established that Disney could have just gone for to play Storm. Like there are plenty. There's no shortage, of young actresses that could fit into that role. But I do like the idea of like, let's make people stars. It's like the whole Robert Englund thing. It's like, don't cast a star as Freddy. Cast somebody that's up and coming. Let's make them a star with Freddy. Let's make Maya Boyd a star with Storm. Kit Connor is like, it seems like he's hit with a certain group, but it seems like it's most of what he's done is TV show kind of stuff. So it's like, let's make him a star, They are frenemies. They are the definition of frenemies to you. If you drink, don't drive, do the watermelon drop. Just bought a watermelon. I'm going to turn it into balls. What kind of balls? What is that? Watermelon balls? I've never eaten a watermelon ball. Lucas Gage, dude from Smile 2 has a look. I don't know X-Men well enough to cast him, but Lucas Gage, who the hell is that? Lucas Gage, who be you? Oh, okay. He does have a comic book kind of look. He does. Yeah. He's kind of the age where it looks like he's early 30s? Oh, he's sort of like you could cast him as, you could go younger, or you could cast him as one of the more, somebody in that sort of Magneto age range if you wanted to. Ultimately, like if you're with Christopher Abbott, if you're going to have a Magneto, you want him to be about the same age as your Professor X, like floating around that realm. Yeah. But speaking of Smile 2, what's her face? Naomi, what the heck is her last name? I can't even remember it for whatever reason. She is super talented and really beautiful. And I know she's maybe not as young anymore as Dazzler would be, but she writes her own music and she can sing. You could, if you wanted to bring in Dazzler, that would be pretty awesome. I think Dazzler could be really fun. RDJ is great at everything he does. He pulls off English well, better than most. Yeah, it seems like he really buys into he gives it his all, and there are these nuanced things and accents that happen, and it's like I couldn't pick them out or replicate them, but when I hear an American do a British accent, I can tell when somebody's kind of going deeper into the nuance of the accent and the quirks. What's happening, Aaron? Welcome on in. I know I'm so far behind. Yeah, I've never heard of Heartstopper. Never even heard of it. I'm so out of touch, Linda. What's the next Spider-Man called? A New Day? Yes, it is. And he tossed pancakes. Starting up a brand new day. Why didn't they use the Sting song Brand New Day? Oh, she is X-23 and becomes the new Wolverine. Gotcha. Okay. Wait. Oh, Laura, you're talking about the character name. I'm so sorry. I never, by the time X-23 came around, I was not following the comics anymore, Linda. So I'm sorry. I totally misunderstood you. I think X-23 is a cool character. Yeah, I really dig it. I mean, just bring Daphne Keenan. She is so good. She's got this intensity, man. Not a fan of gender swapping, race swapping, sexuality swapping. Every race, sexuality, and gender deserves the respect of originality. Yeah. And their thing is that's really funny, is like there are plenty of characters already that exist in the comic book world that fit all of the boxes or check all. You don't have to change one character to this one thing. It's like you can go find you can find the gay character. You can find the ridiculously strong female lead. I mean, I think comic books are probably more than any other medium of like visual storytelling, probably the most like on the forefront of not pushing, but just being very, it wasn't a thing in the 1960s. They're like, yeah, there's going to be like the most powerful mutant's going to be Jean Grey, just like that. 1963, the most powerful mutant is like a 21-year-old redhead chick, that's just what she, and so the comic books have always been there without needing any sort of nudge. They if anything, they've been pushing, helping society move along more so than the other way around. Well, yeah, it's true, Aaron. The movies can be pretty tiresome. I do still think the soap opera of it all and the storytelling of it all, just within the comic book realm in and of itself, I think it's really fascinating. I do. Like, I love, it's just really detailed storytelling. Yeah, she's incredibly badass. If we don't get her, if they don't let her scream in this movie, it would just be wasted potential. Sadie would also totally slay as Madeline Pryor. Gimme, gimme, gimme. Well, they won't have her be both, right? But let's see. Oh, yeah, dude. Well, Madeline Pryor, you're going to want to go a little bit older for obvious reasons. And yeah, she can't be wearing much, right? I mean, dude, Madeline Pryor is just a little hot, isn't she? Holy cow. Yeah, she's smoking. Damn. It's what's so funny is I'm looking at her and it's like, so you have Samara Weaving as Emma Frost. You could just dye Margot Robbie's hair red and have her play Madeline Pryor if you wanted to, because she's got a look that's close enough, right? Yeah, she stepped it up, man. Whoever her, most actors that are performing in this capacity have coaches and gurus and stuff like that they go to. I would imagine Sadie's acting coach is really damn good. They have casting Enigma Severus. Welcome on in. They have casting for here. Let me, you probably already saw this because I'm so far behind on the chat, but yeah, they've announced these 7 players so far. Well, I'm sorry I missed you, Em. I'll catch up with you on the flippity flop. Philip Pullman's Dark Materials is literally written as anti-Christian, so that is why most people are turned off to it. Gotcha. Yeah, I just think sometimes I hear titles and I'm like, pretentious. What was the Harley Quinn movie? It was like the fantabulous emancipation of the blah blah. I'm like, okay, fuck you. Like, I know your movie's gonna suck because this title blows. Like, this title makes indie rock bands from 1999 sound not pretentious, Captain Caveman. I don't think she needs to look more like Halle Berry because it seems like they're just sort of, it's going to be X-Men from like a different universe, or it's just going to be a fresh. I don't think they're trying to say that these actors are supposed to be younger versions of the characters we know. I think these are going to be alternate universe versions of the X-Men. So we might see Halle Berry's Storm die in Doomsday. You know what I mean? They might do stuff like that. So I think at this point she just needs to look kind of like the character in the comic books. Joe Locke and Kit Connor became too in demand. Oh, gotcha. Ended it with a movie. Gotcha. Okay. Alan Ritchson for Sinister. That would work. He's fucking huge. And he's got the shape of the face. Yeah. He's got the face. The same thing that happens to everything else. Yeah, that was a rough line, Jiggy. That's specifically what I'm thinking of when I think about how wooden she was. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, what did I do that made you spit out your Arby or choke on your Arby sandwich? I got to know what it was because this was so long ago. Oh, you lost your appetite because it was something else. Oh, frog legs, maybe. Okay, guys, I'm skipping all the way to the bottom of the chat. Liz, welcome on in. I can't wait to jump in here in a little bit, guys. Liz is going live in just like 27 minutes. And Liz, are you playing Breath of the Wild? You're playing Zelda, right? Why can't I think of what the fuck the newer game is? This is how out of touch I am. I still think Breath of the Wild is like it's the new Zelda game. Gonna lurk for a bit, need some lunch, have an amazing stream. Thank you so much, Daniel. I appreciate you, man. Take care, brother. Oh, Jean's clone. Gotcha. It would be Sadie. Okay, but she looks to be a little bit older, at least. Like, you know, I guess, but they wouldn't do that with a clone, right? Okay. Well, there you go. Ooh, are we gonna find out that it really wasn't Jean Grey in Brand New Day, but it was Madeline Pryor, and that's gonna make it okay that Jean was doing some of the things she did in Brand New Day? I thought it might be that Emma Frost has got her in some sort of trance or spell, or that Jean thinks that she's in full control, but she's not really. I thought they might do something like that with Emma. But I need to, you know, I need to read more about Madeline Pryor, because I know, I mean, obviously she's a huge connection. She's basically, you know, Mr. Sinister's gal, you know. So I need to learn a little bit more about that. Oh, literally choked all by yourself? Oh my gosh. Are you okay? Jamie, grab a chair. Give yourself the self Heimlich. There you go. Soak in the bath. Achy gal needs that Sunday early afternoon bath time. Yeah, I mean, you got to get relaxed. Like, you could game while you're in the tub, right? Get all pruny. Pruniest feet ever. Pokemon, but Zelda's later on. Okay, there we go. Yeah, guys, Liz's channel is great if you enjoy like game streaming. Like last night I was working on stuff for the channel, and I just put on one of her streams that I had missed just for the background. It was great. Juicy Madeline Price. See, Linda, there's so much I could learn from you about this stuff, because there was a pocket in my life where I was really nerding out about the comics and collecting at that time. And then, you know, since then I like to, you know, touch base and sort of, and, you know, read more in depth about maybe some of the backstory on everything. And then there have been times, like I went out, I bought, you know, Days of Future Past, got the Phoenix Saga, all that stuff. So I've read those. I've got like the, you know, the graphic novel collections of those, but there's so much I've missed. There are certain channels too that I'll listen to where they sort of, you know, explain these stories as well. So, but yeah, you've got a lot of really good info here, Linda. You're a true blue X-Men fan, aren't you? I did not know that. Are the X-Men like your thing when it comes to comics? Are you full comic knowledge? Oh no. I'm so sorry, Jamie. You got to take little mousy bites. Be careful. Let us know if we see just one letter, you know, typed right across the screen endlessly, then we know that Jamie needs us. So keep an eye out, everyone. Can you imagine my chat if I told them I was in the, well, yeah. I didn't say you needed to tell them. I wouldn't tell them. But I could only imagine. You might notice that like your viewership goes up with trolley fuckers. Not trolley like the lovey gummy candy, but the other kind of trolley. Let's see here. Is it not Naomi Watts? It's Naomi. What is her name? Naomi Scott. Naomi Scott. Yeah, I mean, and she's dark-haired normally, right? But in Smile too, she's got that short blonde cut, right? I'm trying to find a version of it a version of her from Smile too. I think this is her, right? Naomi Scott. Yeah, she's just got, I mean, I love her look. Here, I'm going to bring it up over here, and there we go. I wish I could zoom in a little bit more, but there we are. But yeah, she's just got that look. The little, like, kind of, you know, short blonde hairs. Dazzler's kind of got that look too in the original comics. And I love that Naomi Scott, you know, writes her own music, and, you know, she contributed to Smile too in that way, which is pretty damn awesome. Pretty damn awesome, I would say. Watermelon balls. I have a special little scooper. Looks like a tiny ice cream. And then, so with the watermelon balls, what do? You just put it in a fruit salad, something like that? Do you freeze them? Put them in water? Ooh, that'd be good. I would like that. Holy cow. I just, based on seeing him next to other actors, I don't know why. And then I figured, because sometimes actors look tall, and they just look tall because a lot of actors are short. And then, but with Adam Driver, I'm like, no, he actually does seem like legit tall. Like he's like normal. He's like regular person tall, not just actor tall. Because if you're like 5'11" as an actor, like I think you're pretty tall as an actor, you know? a lot of actors are more, a couple, probably a couple inches shorter to have the eye line match up more with the female actors. No, usually. Yeah. Don't make me get on an AI thing, Linda, and turn him into Mr. Potato Head. Well, I don't know. I just think he needs to be gaunt, so it could be fixed with diet, workout, all that kind of stuff. Oh my God. It's crazy the way ladies can make money. It really is. And maybe I could find some sickos out there that would like to have my dirty shit too. They're my favorite too, Linda, but now I feel like such a noob, such a poser with all the knowledge you're dropping. I mean, they've been my favorite since I was a little kid. It was like 92, 93 when I got into the X-Men. I just think I think there's nothing close. Nothing gets as close. The Avengers, it's so funny that the Avengers have become as big as they are in our pop culture world because they were so not in the 80s and 90s. You got the look. She's got the look. Oh my gosh, Aaron, were you talking about Alaska the other week? A video popped up on YouTube for me that was about how they like stole all their riffs. They got in like all this trouble. It was I couldn't watch it at the time. It was just the intro, and I was like, oh my God, I have to tell Aaron about this. Comics were never really my thing, but I love hearing other people talk about them and the stories that come from them. I think that's a thing too. Like, that's where I fall. Like, I don't have the resources or the time to buy and read all the comics. But if there's something like, hey, I've missed out on this whole storyline, like I want to know about the Executioner saga, or I want to know about the Genosha, story. It's really cool when you can hop on a YouTube video and someone in 30 minutes will break down 12 issues of comics, and they'll break it down with the story. They'll give you a little bit of their editorial or commentary as they go along, but the main idea of the video would be to just kind of educate you on the story. And that's sort of where I'm at as a fan, is I love good storytelling. And I see a lot of good storytelling in the X-Men, specifically the X-Men. All the best stuff from Marvel comes from the X-Men. I mean, Spider-Man is great, but like Civil War and everything like that. Yeah, the Avengers are a big part of Civil War in the comics, but that doesn't happen without the X-Men. Without the prejudice and the genocide against the mutants, and without the mutants being locked up, that's like where it all starts, is the mutants being locked up for having the mutant X gene, and then it spills over into other superheroes. So that's what created like the big conundrum in Civil War ultimately, is the superheroes that weren't technically mutants, had to sort of pick sides of like, well, do we put them in prison or not? And it's a really interesting storyline to me. And I think X-Men has just been on the forefront of so much of that sociological stuff, and being very, not like sneaky, but just like not being insulting to the audience about making their point. I think they make their points very well. Davey, what's the members badge? I can't see as I'm pretty blind in one eye. After 2 years, I don't even know if I have one for 2 years, Gina. After 1 year, you're Michael Myers with a crown on your head. So if it looks something like that, that's what it would be after after 1 year. Let me see if I can see which one you've got. That's too funny. I see Paula's got it's Jason and Jason's mom. It's too cute. Okay, where are you at, Gina? Where you at, Gina? Let me find you, because I want to know which one you have. You've been a channel member for 2 years, so I think I can spend some time here trying to. You actually, okay, Gina. So maybe this is the 2-year one. You've got it's Chucky and Tiffany with a heart behind them. Yeah, Chucky and Tiffany. Oh yeah, for sure. X-Men watch party. It's true. I'm 5'11" and a half. Tia's got my medical records. I sent her my all of my medical information. I didn't do that. Hiding 10 jewels. Thank you so much, Joe. Appreciate you. One of our great channel members, Death Squad mod, the whole shebang. Oh god, yeah. You know, what do I say about free association every stream, Aaron? What do I say? It's true. You can look at well, and then the way they shoot characters can make them look shorter. You know, framing and everything like that. The lens you use, like all that stuff can affect, like, you know, just the way everything looks. Tried getting into comics a few times growing up, but got tired of trying to make sense of what order the word balloons were supposed to be read in. Oh yeah, it's like you gotta go left to right, but then it does, you know, you're sort of like, do I stay with this one over here that sort of turns into two other ones, like a little reverse snowman? Like, what do I do there? I think I've seen most movies from Marvel and DC Comics universe, but reading comics was never really something I was interested in. Yeah. Well, and the cool thing is you can still, you know, you can read those summaries. You know, honestly, AI summarizing a comic book line is probably not that bad, but there are videos too. If you were ever interested in being like, I want to know what the difference really is between Days of Future Past in the comics and then Days of Future Past the movie, because, oh my gosh, Liz, there are massive differences between the comic and the movie of Days of Future Past, but they're both really good and they both tell a really great story. But there's some very, very big differences. And then the Phoenix saga, it's so funny that they've done Phoenix twice in the movies. They have not even come close. And when I say not even come close, it's like we're not even using the right characters other than Jean. And in the latest movie, at least they were in space when the Phoenix Force like hit her. At least they did that. But that was the only thing they got right in that one. Yeah, horror comics are a whole different animal. And I never got into horror comics. I just horror, like movies and horror, that's kind of like, that's my jam. But with the comics, I wanted the more superhero one. Yeah. Yeah, it must be Chucky and Tiffany. I can change those guys. It's honestly, it's the last thing on my mind with everything else going on the channel, but I can make some different icons. You're never really gonna know what they are unless I just number. Like I could just do a number 1 for 1 year. I could do a number 2 and you'd be able to tell, right? Something like that. Oh yeah, I have a friend that I frequently watch movies with who's very into Marvel and DC. They talk to me about the differences between the movies and comics all the time. Hell yeah. There's also a really cool channel. It used to be called Bullets and Blockbusters, but I think he changed his channel name. I don't know. I don't know if it was because of bullets was in there or what, but I can't think of the new channel name right now. That's why when you name your channel, try not to change the name of your channel. But he does a lot of the comparisons and it's really, really well done. But also chatting with a friend that can break it all down for you. Not only is it cool for you because you get to hear it from a fan, but trust me, Liz, and I'm sure you know this for being a nerd for other stuff, but it's probably so much fun for your friend to be able to like, yeah, the nerdiness, you know, to express, literally express the nerdiness it's a great feeling, isn't it? It is a great feeling. And holy cow, Liz just became a YouTube channel member. Thank you so much, Liz. I really do appreciate you. That's too sweet. Guys, check out Liz's channel. If you dig gaming streamers, check her out. I really dig the vibe she's got over there, and as far as the community goes, and she's really fun. I mean, shit, if you catch Liz playing a horror game, the laugh screaming, you're gonna hear a lot of laugh screaming. You know what I mean? The Jamie Lee Curtis laugh and scream. It's very, very exciting stuff. Do y'all remember when Jessica Alba was cast as Sue Storm? I do. You guys remember when Jessica Alba used to get work? I don't know how she got work. I'm guessing it's just because she's pretty. Because she's not good at acting. At least I've never seen her act well. I don't know. But yeah, she was Sue Storm for 2 movies. Fuck, I wouldn't be surprised if they brought some of those people back in Doomsday, right? Because you could bring in other versions of Fantastic Four. They have, now that Marvel has the rights to Fantastic Four, I mean, they can bring in Jessica Alba if they wanted to. I mean, they already had Chris Evans play Johnny Storm again in Deadpool and Wolverine. So he didn't, you know, he didn't do Captain America and Deadpool and Wolverine. He did Johnny Storm. So yeah. Breakdowns and blockbusters. Thank you, Jiggy. Yeah, that's a really cool channel. I dig that channel quite a bit. So, you know, if you're the type of person that likes, like, what is the real backstory, or what were the original plans for this movie, and why did it end up turning into the movie that it ended up being? You know, like, what happened with Justice League? Like, why did we get that first version of Justice League? And you know, there are very simple bullet point reasons why, but he really dives into a lot more nuance. Yeah, she's a total hottie. Yeah, absolutely. She had her time where she was totally hot. Yeah, for sure. Don't think she can act. And like, Liz, I don't know if you've heard me say this, but it's one of my favorite things. I'm like, if you can't act, I don't care what you look like. Get out of my movies. Like, there are so many hot people on this planet. Like, go outside, you're gonna see them all over the place. So to find a hot person that can also act, it really shouldn't be very difficult. There are a lot of people that want to break into the acting game. So, and I'm sure a lot of them are very pretty. So yeah, why do we need pretty people that can't act? Stop doing it. Stop giving them jobs. Well, I just know that I've seen, you know, Samara Weaving is out there. Catherine Newton is out there. Florence Pugh, Sophie Thatcher, Sadie Sink. There are so many examples of really good actresses that are also beautiful, you know? So we don't need beautiful people who can't act. That goes for men and women. It's just get them out of here. That's why, you know what? Here, I'm going to throw you ladies one that's, I'm very happy for you. All the ladies love Jacob Elordi, and I'm so happy for you because he's really damn good. He earns every bit of it. So great. The ladies are everyone that digs dudes think he's totally hot. And then for those of us that aren't interested in that, we're like, well, damn, he's a really good actor. So yeah, I mean, to me, his performance, and I've only seen him in one thing, but his performance as the creature in Frankenstein, in Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, that saved the movie for me. If the monster or the creature performance isn't at that level that Elordi brought it to, then I just like straight up don't like the movie. I mean, that's how Oscar Isaac didn't do it for me really in that movie. I could have used a lot more Mia Goth, but you know, Jacob Elordi coming in and just rescuing the whole thing. Totally. Exactly, right? I mean, go to the store, no matter where you live, just go to a mall, go to a supermarket. You're going to see plenty of, you know. Liz, it's like you're always talking about on your channel. There's there's certain times when you just find yourself out there and you're like, I am just looking at all the butts. I can't stop looking at these butts. What is going on? There you go. And it's great because I can sit there and be like, oh, he is? Like, to me, I'm like, I can't tell. I mean, the very first thing I saw him is the creature. It's not like the creature is, you know, very attractive or anything like that. But the performance, oh my God, was so good. And he to me, he looks like a young Christian Bale. Like, I think he could be a really good Mr. Sinister. Now, he might be a little young, but with makeup and in the suit they put him in, what, Jacob Elordi's probably late 20s, something like that. It's like, if you made him up and you put him in that suit and whatever effect you put on his voice, he's got the sharp teeth, like, he could pass for 35-ish, right? You know, you probably want Mr. Sinister to be in his mid to late 30s-ish, right? So, that timing of Davey saying for me, and it's ad cuts for Marshall's sale. Yeah, guys, I know. I'm trying to figure out the ads thing because here's the deal, y'all. Most of what I do here is live streaming. Live streaming doesn't get, you know, when you're a small channel like mine, the live streams don't necessarily get a lot of replay action, you know, relatively speaking. So since it's most of what I'm doing here on the channel and it doesn't get very many replays, I'm like, I do want to take advantage of some of that opportunity to monetize, because right now YouTube is my side hustle. And I, you know, obviously, like a lot of other people on YouTube, I would like for it to build this to where it could be something more, right? So I'm trying to make it to where the ads are just not very intrusive. I've got them set to go every half hour. And I figure that's not very bad. If I stream for about 2 hours and you get 3 to 4 commercials, I think that's pretty reasonable compared to like anything you would watch on TV. So I appreciate you guys being understanding about it. I want to be upfront about what's going on and not be like, I don't have ads on here. Like I'm not, you know. So it was a conscious decision to start turning those on. YouTube tells me that they don't give them as much to the channel members as other people. So I don't know if that's true, but that's what they say on their little blurb. So, and then all of the members stuff, I don't do any ads on any of the member stuff. If you pay for the if you pay for the membership, those streams and everything like that, I turn the ads completely off. So, so yeah. Anyways, just wanted to be upfront on all that. Call me Tina the way I be checking out butts. It is just, yeah, I don't know. Butsoverboobs.com. That's a joke I've been making for over 20 years now, is like, I want to make a website called butsoverboobs.com, and it's all about how butts are way cooler, more important than a nice rack. Oh, there you go. Jacob Lordy fans want him for James Bond. He would be incredible as James Bond. I mean, yeah, he would be amazing. I think for the franchise, he would be amazing as far as like the attention it would get. And he's, again, just from what I've seen, really damn good at acting. I mean, it's the little things he brought to that role of the creature that really blew my mind. It was the fact that he was willing to really like lay bare his soul with those odd grunts and clicks and the breathing and just, you know, making kind of like ugly sounds, be sort of a pathetic creature and embody that so well. Such a powerful creature, but also it's sometimes so pathetic, like an animal that's been beaten into a corner. There was just, I don't know, really felt like the humanity. Yeah, they let me know that there's a couple ways you can do it, and I tried it a different way last time we streamed, and it seemed to be that they were more frequent than I wanted them to be. Because guys, I don't set it to where you can set them to where it's like every 5 minutes, you know, or 15 minutes, or, you know, I think, yeah, it's like 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, and I pick the lowest one they'll allow me. So I'm just trying to find that nice happy medium of, you know, bringing in a little bit, but making sure that your guys' experience isn't interrupted too much. So I just want to be upfront about it, right? If I watch Davey on mobile kitty litter, it shows up further proof Duncan for host. Mobile kitty litter. What is that? They deliver kitty litter to your house now? Guys, if you have cats and you don't have world's best kitty litter, I think that's what it is. World's best kitty litter or world's best cat litter. That's the only one. That is the only one that you got to get. The other, like when I was watching Duncan, when I scoop his box, it's got the other, you know, the regular kind of kitty litter in there, and I scoop his box, and then when I walk away, I can taste the dust, like the smell, and it's just like, ugh. The cool thing about World's Best Kitty Litter is it's like a wheat based, and it's got no scent, so your cat likes it more, and it still covers up everything. So yeah, thank you so much for hanging out, Linda. Really do appreciate you. It's always a pleasure, and I love so much that I learned something new about you today. You know, I know so much about your fandom from the other times that you've hung out, and Linda, I think you and I are very similar in that we both love a lot and get nerdy about a lot. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of so many avenues for the nerddom, and I think that's with so many of us here in the community, obviously. But just you know, the way that you voice your interests and your and the things that you know, the IPs and everything that you really gravitate towards, like you have a lot of different fandoms, and what's really cool is you're very knowledgeable about all these different fandoms that you've got, which is, I think, the way to be. If you're going to be a nerd about storytelling and about this kind of stuff, I think that's the way to be. I respect it. I admire it. I think it's awesome. I love that you're a fan that finds so much to love. And thank you for not only being a channel member and hanging out, but thank you for bringing your X-Men knowledge. Thank you for teaching me a little bit, right? And guys, if you like this kind of stuff, let me know. Let me know in the chat, of course, but also if you're in the live chat right now, or and especially if you're watching after the fact, jump into the comments. So you guys that are here live now, if you want more non-horror stuff like this, like coverage of these kinds of franchises, the stuff that I'm, you know, passionate and nerdy about, do me a favor and jump into the comments after the stream's over and let me know. That's the best way to just communicate that to me. About a year ago, I got so sick of ads that I signed up for premium. It was so worth it. Lots of free music and movies, no ads. That's true. And another cool thing, Jamie, I'm sure you know this. If you're on your phone, you can turn your screen off and it keeps on rolling. Keep on rolling. Keep on rolling, which is really nice because sometimes it's cool to, like, you know, you got your earbud in, maybe you want to put your phone in your pocket, but then you get that phantom hit on your screen because you can't turn the screen off and have it keep on rolling. So that's really cool, right? And then if you're listening to something while you sleep, you don't have to just put your phone down and drain your battery while it lights up your bed. You know, you can just turn that screen off, save your battery, no ads, no blue light. It is totally worth it. Yeah. Or butts over boobs can literally just be a showcase. Pics of butts literally in the same space above pairs of boobs. Or instead of cleavage, you just put a butt on the chest. See, a butt looks like a better cleavage. I mean, but really all cleavage is it's supposed to remind you of a butt, right? So do we like boobs or do we like the butt? We getting into some really interesting conversation here. Yeah, get two, Liz, right? That's the way to go with cats. Hey, they all need homes, right? There's so many out there that need homes. If you get two, especially if you can get a bonded pair already from a foster, man, that's really cool because then they already know each other. They already have that vibe. And then they're going to play with each other. They're going to, you know, keep each other company, snuggle, groom each other. It's great. Like, and you still can play with them. Of course, you can still engage and be, you know, and be their pal. But it's nice. I think especially for cats, it's nice when they have another cat. Yeah. I refuse to be older than James Bond. I won't allow it. Yeah, maybe he's a bit young but if they just want to tell that story, the younger Bond story, they could definitely do that. But 29, so he could play Mr. Sinister. You could age him up enough with makeup and the costume. Yeah, that's the one, Derek. That is the one. And I don't even know if I mentioned this, Derek, but welcome to channel membership. I think you had gotten one gifted just the other day, right? Welcome. There you go. Guys, I use the Brave browser. I even use it on my phone. So I get around the ads on my phone, but turning off the screen, that's a little wonky. And sometimes the audio will drop and then I have to reload the whole app. So there are little things that are, you know, but I did pay for premium for years. I just got to the point where I was like, I can't do $20 a month just for this, you know? Oh, gotcha. Mobile. Okay, gotcha. You watch it on your phone. I'm so old, I still use my iPod. There you go. Did they let you turn the screen off if you want to? I mean, they're really great. Don't get me wrong, Liz. I am absolutely a fan. This is in no way saying that I'm not a fan of that body. I celebrate the entire female body. But yeah, I guess I've always been more about like booty. Booty. Used to have two, but they both got old, and sadly pets don't live forever. It's true. Our Anapals have, you know, we all have limited time on this earth. But it's, you know, it is sad, but think about it this way. You were able to give them a life and all of these experiences they never would have gotten in the wild if they were living on the streets or if they were living in nature. The likelihood of like birth defects from overbreeding, you know, getting caught in a car engine, getting attacked by a wild animal, a bird or a dog. You know, you just see all sorts of mistreatment and abandonment of these sweet creatures. And so, you know, you think to yourself, of course it's sad that you lost your animal friends, right? But it's like they had the best life that they could have had. And they are, you know, these creatures, you know, they understand these things. They can't articulate them to us, right? But they understand. They show appreciation. People say cats are so independent and aloof and don't show affection. Those things are being said by people that have never owned a cat or had that kind of special relationship with a cat. Those things are being said by people who have visited friends that have had cats and had limited cat experience. And, you know, like once you actually live with one and you take care of one, you're like, oh, They're just kind of like us. And maybe that's why they bristle people a little bit, because they're as independent as we are. Just like us, maybe they're affectionate a la carte. Maybe they're not always super affectionate, but sometimes they are. Gosh, God forbid they just need to be in the mood for it. I mean, I think dogs are cool, but dogs are a little super subservient bitches. I mean, honestly, like they're just like certain breeds and everything have like jobs to do. And I think dogs can be, you know, they're super useful. Obviously they, you know, blended with us, you know, at some point in history because it was a really good mutual relationship. But man, the way dogs are now, it's like they have all of our anxiety. They walk around with those worried eyebrows. Are you mad at me? They follow you. They whine. They're just, you know. And cats are like, oh, you're over there? Cool, bud. When you put the blanket on your lap, maybe I'll join you. You know. I love the kitty cats. Sam and Maisie. Aw. Can you tell that to my joints? Oh, are you talking about not that old? Yeah. Oh, man. Change up the stream. Just talking about cats all of a sudden. Oh, that's so sweet. That's so sweet. Jamie is 23 despite what her joints say. I have 2 cats now. I've had 6 since 1998. I'm definitely a cat person. Maine Coon cats are the best, but I love all cats. They're all so cute. I mean, come on. They are easier to maintain. Yeah, you can take like a day trip with a cat. Like you just leave it at home, clean the box, drop some food. So yeah, I'll see you in 24 to 48 hours and you'll be A-okay, you know? They did learn that we have sofas. They're like, well, you have sofas, we get scraps, like we don't have to scavenge. And then this wolf turned into like this, like, you know. Love cats and dogs equally. I mean, don't get me wrong. I do too. Like, I'm not sitting there going like, oh, like let the dogs just like lie in the street, like only adopt the cats. I'm just saying like personally, like I do love the personality of cats. Like I think cats are easier to take care of. But like a dog wouldn't fit like, you know, the lifestyle that I imagine myself having or have had in the past. But I always love visiting with dogs when I, you know, hang out with a friend, or my niece has a little chihuahua and he just freaks out. He loves me so much. I don't know why, but he's just like, so I could, you know, see him and then see him 3 hours later and he acts like he hasn't seen me in a week. And he's like, he just freaks out, you know, it's amazing. What's happening? Astro Juicy over on Twitch. Welcome on in. They're a bit much. Yes, they are. And it's just, I mean, that's just the way, like we raised them that way. We turned them into the little spoiled brats they are, right? My wife and I have 2 of each. I made her promise me our current pair of dogs will be our last. Yeah, a little less maintenance. Yeah, the cats are a lot easier to just sort of, yeah, you just let the cats free range with the cats, right? Absolutely. You know what I really want though, guys, is ever since I was a kid, I've wanted a tarantula as a pet. Female tarantula, live like 30 years or something like that. Pugs are cute. I grew up with we had a Samoyed when I was a kid. He was feisty. He was kind of an asshole to strangers, but like he listened to me and my dad. You know, don't know what else to say, but yeah, I want a tarantula, guys. And then, you know, I know it's like most times I've been either in some sort of a relationship or an arrangement where it's like, absolutely, you could not have a tarantula. But I'm like, what about like a sweet little jumping spider? And then every like 2 to 3 years, you get a new jumping spider, and they've got cute little personalities. Like they're pretty adorable. Used to have an Australian Shepherd. Had a snake too when I was married. Would not do the snake again. It's a little bit of a whole different animal, right? I've had one dog, golden retriever named Ella. She went everywhere with me, but she passed too soon. Oh, yeah. I think that's another thing too with cats is like they can live so much longer. So you're still going to experience those things, and it's not a guarantee they're going to live super long. But if you keep your cat indoors and you keep it healthy, it can live a good 20 years. I mean, shit, if you feed your cat a raw food diet, it could probably live like closer to 30 years. It's wild. It is so wild. Okay, we are closing in on 2 hours. We have exhausted the X-Men talk, I would say. We didn't talk too much about Doomsday, but whatever. I got all the X-Men stuff up here. The Doomsday trailer is like, it's, you know, it looks fine to me. I'll just say my quick word on it. I'm ready for that era of Marvel just to be done. So like, I'm more excited about this X-Men movie than I am about Doomsday. Easy. They've tried Doctor Doom so many times. It's like, well, you guys should have started with this version because this is like the version. I don't know why you tried two different versions of Doctor Doom before doing this one, because this is the way to go. Like, Doctor Doom is one of the big bads. So, you know, it'll be cool to see Cyclops in the Jim Lee suit. Love seeing that in the trailer. I love a good Gambit suit, all that kind of stuff. And I will be seated for Avengers Doomsday. I have a list, so it won't really cost me anything. I'm curious to see if they really do take some chances and where the big swings are and all that kind of stuff, if there are going to be any. You know, I imagine obviously it's going to lead into Secret Wars after that, and then we're going to get that, you know, X-Men movie. Are those coming out the same year? Secret Wars would probably be 2028 as well, maybe following up the X-Men movie. I don't know. I don't have the schedule in front of me, and I can't be bothered to remember. But yeah, Avengers Doomsday looks pretty entertaining, but it is ultimately going to be an Avengers movie directed by the Russo brothers. And I think the Russo brothers' better work was earlier on in their career, whereas the more they've gone on, the more kind of samey and homogenized the movies have kind of felt. You know, like, oh, another Russo brothers Avengers movie. It just feels like another chapter, like we're watching television, like it's very episodic, right? Whereas when they did like Winter Soldier, that felt different and new and fresh. And then now it's sort of like they're just maybe not resting on their laurels, but they are just like doing the thing. They're just, you know, punching the clock. Thank you so much for hanging out, Liz. Thank you for grabbing that membership, and I will see you in a little bit over on your channel. I have a Morky Poo. Ooh, mix of Maltese Yorkshire Terrier and a toy poodle. I can't even imagine. Her name is Milani, which was the name of an Ewok. She looks like a little Ewok. Okay, I'm going to look it up. Morky Poo? What is this? Oh, I gotcha. Yeah, okay. That's what these are. Okay. Yeah, you know what? These dogs are so cute. This kind of dog reminds me so much of, Aaron, have you ever watched The Black Cauldron? These kinds of dogs remind me of Gurgi. With the crunchies and monkeys. But Ewok, I can see an Ewok too. But yeah, Gurgi from, depending on the plumage, when I say plumage is for birds, depending on the hair color, right? And the pattern and everything like that. Could look like Gurgi. Or could look like an Ewok. Yeah. The dink dink. My cat just lurks, falls asleep if I watch you or Carrie or whoever else. It's my voice. My voice is soothing for the kitty cat. Jealous. Guys, The Black Cauldron's fucking incredible. Disney, what are you doing with that? Where's the live action, like, or not even remake? Because there's the Tales of Prydain. The Black Cauldron's one of the stories in the Tales of Prydain. Really, really cool high fantasy. I would love to see a live action version of the Tales of Prydain. I think they're kind of fucking up by not doing that, because the Black Cauldron is incredible. 70 millimeter Don Bluth, beautiful animation, dark. Don't celebrate. You celebrate the Gotcha-versary, right? It is an incredible banger. The Horned King freaked the hell out of me as a kid. Oh my! They had to take a scene out of the movie because it was going to be like PG-13 if they put it in there, like Raising the Dead. It's crazy. I try to know ball as best I can. Yeah, I mean, I grew up with the Black Cauldron, even the video game on the old DOS computer or whatever. Yeah. Yeah, here I'll grab a picture of the last thing I'll show before we close out here and I say my goodbyes. Let me grab a little Gurgi. Again, I don't know what, you know, the color fur that your sweet pup has, Aaron, but here is a picture of Gurgi, if I can bring it up here. What is it? Oh, there it is. All right, and then I've got to do that. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. This is just the cutest guy. Oh my God, Gurgi is so sweet. And he has to make the ultimate sacrifice. God, we love you, Gurgi. I promised myself I wouldn't cry. Yes, birthday snuggles for Ziggy Puppy Pup. Of course. Oh, same day as Doomsday. Okay, gotcha. Oh, cool. Well, that's cool. They're doing them back to back like that, a year apart. All right, guys, that is going to wrap it up here for me on this one. I'm going to be, I don't know if I'll be back tomorrow. We'll see. I think I might need the day just to decompress and take care of some other things. But for sure, we'll do Wednesday this week, and we'll do, we'll get into more streams. So just keep an eye out. I am planning on, I've got another Crystal Lake video that I'm going to be working on here. And I've also got some Evil Dead stuff in the works as well. So keep an eye out for all of that. And yeah, later on tonight, guys, if you love Tales from the Crypt, and you want to watch Tales from the Crypt, Sunday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern, over in the Discord, we do a Tales from the Crypt watch party. We just started last week, so we just started from the very beginning of the series. And last time we watched 3 episodes. It was like a little over an hour. So just a chill, quick hangout. The Discord's totally free. So hit the link down below if you want to join us over there. And we can watch some Tales from the Crypt later. That'll be at 9 p.m. Eastern. Thank you so much for being a channel member, Gina. 24 months of channel membership. That is incredible. Jigsaw dropping a super chat there for $5. Shannon with another $5. We got Nathan Thornwood with a 10. You guys are incredible. Jeff dropping a $5 as well. And then I think Paula's here. Ended that goal, or achieved that super chat goal, and got us that second hour. Thank you so very much, guys. M from Horror Her sent in 500 jewels with a little watermelon love. Thank you, M. And Joe from Media Poop Shoot with a 10 jewel little super sticker there as well. And then we got Miss Liz, became a channel member. You guys are incredible. Thank you so much for the amazing support, especially when we jump on and we talk about something that's so far out of the realm of what we usually talk here. A lot of times, YouTube is like, Davey, what are you doing? Why are you not talking about horror movies? We don't like this, but you guys have been amazing. Thank you so very much. Got my guy Cecil jumping in here at the last second, one of our great Death Squad mods over here, and a good bud. Don, so good to see you, Don. I'm just closing stuff out, but it's great to see you. I am doing well. Way busier than I would like to be, but what can you do? That's just life, right? That is just life. Cecil. How close am I without spoiling? Very, very close, Cecil. Very, very close without spoiling. And I'm curious to know what you think of this X-Men casting. Some of it I'm like, oh yeah, and then some of it I'm like, I don't know about that. That actor's popular. I just don't know about that. But oh my gosh, it did miss you, Nathan. Where did that go? Thank you so much for signing back up, Nathan. I really do appreciate you, man. Sometimes it's so weird because StreamYard lets me know when people buy memberships, but it's not showing it here. I'm so sorry. Thank you, Cecil. You actually reminded me just now to close out the poll here. What do you think of the X-Men casting out of D23? 35 votes. Let's see what we got. We've got 46% is a mixed bag. I feel like the other night, guys, when I had my little like, oh my god, like Indy Navarrete looks like so many other X-Men characters. Why is she Rogue? And then I'm like, oh, Adam Driver's Mr. Sinister is like, why are they fucking this up? And I kind of came down to earth and I was like, man, was I a bit too hot on that one? But seeing that you guys think it's a mixed bag as well, like, it makes me feel a little bit better. Thank you for that. 29% people say, I don't care about the X-Men. So that's almost 30% just removed from the equation. 19% of you say superb. They nailed it. And too much stunt casting with stars was 6%. I might be too much stunt casting with stars. I don't know. I think I'm more of a mixed bag kind of thing. Cecil, yes, I should. What did I do last night? What did I do? Oh, I streamed and then I probably worked on stuff for the channel. Yes. All right. I'll have to jump on over there and check it out. It is great, guys. If you have not gone over there and subbed to the Horror Show channel, I don't know what you're doing. Something like 60,000 subs. So if you're not one of those, you are missing out on, man, reviews that span everything. Comics, novels, film, video games. If it's horror, or if it's horror adjacent, and sometimes kind of like over here, if it's just something that Cecil's really interested in, like it's going to be on the Horror Show channel. So you should check it out. Check it out. And yes, if Jessica can play, if Jessica Alba can play Sue Storm, then Indy can play Rogue. I think she can do it. Again, I'm just saying that there are other characters where I'm like, I think she just inherently looks more like these other characters, but whatever, it'll be fine. Do the accent, Indy. If you don't do the accent, I'm going to have a freak out. But anyways, guys, that is going to wrap it up for this one. Thank you so much for hanging out. You guys are amazing. You all are beautiful. I love you all so very much. Shout out to the Patreon members and YouTube channel members. And of course, shout out to the Death Squad mods for keeping everything nice and tight and clean as far as, well, you know, as much as they can anyways. I will be back sometime later on this week, guys. You can catch me in the Discord later on tonight watching Tales from the Crypt. And oh, it's because you okay, so it must be, it's probably on the stream from last night. Oh, it's on over there. But yeah, guys, I'll be back later on this week. You all are so lovely. Thank you for joining me. Keep an eye out for some more Crystal Lake stuff and all sorts of malarkey from the Davey Deathray channel. But until next time, I've been and will continue being Davey Deathray. Take care.